chapter 42 on heavenly joy and happiness, I find it ties in rather well with the previous chapter on employment in heaven. There we learnt that a fulfilling job is not about external delights such as salary principally, which is so often talked about in the media. Rather, it's about the less tangible satisfactions. Recently, I listened again to Scott Pape's book, The Barefoot Investor. And in the last part of the book, he encourages his readers to leave a legacy. He says we need to understand that no one is going to remember us for driving the latest and greatest Mercedes, but that we should find something people will remember us by. A well-known Australian example is the Fred Hollows Foundation. Fred gave his time and money towards giving sight to the blind in the tiny nation of Eritrea in Africa. And now, after Fred's death, his foundation encourages others to do so too. But Scott Pape also makes it clear it's about more than just being remembered. It's about finding something to do with your time and money that brings you joy. That's what most of us hope Fred did it for, of course, but we'll never really know because we cannot see with absolute certainty into the heart of anyone else. Heavenly happiness is really not about being remembered as a good person. It's doing what is good for the sake of the good itself. That is true satisfaction. Swedenborg writes, "In uses, all the delights of heaven are brought together and are present, because uses are the goods of love and charity in which angels are." And the truest form of use focuses not upon self, because self-interest is self-defeating. The love of self takes away from others and robs others of all delight, and directs it to itself, for it wishes well to itself alone, while the love of the world wishes to have as its own the things belonging to the neighbour. Therefore, these loves are destructive of the delights of others, or if there is any disposition to share, it is for the sake of themselves and not for the sake of others. And in talking about the idea of idleness or relaxation, Swedenborg makes an interesting observation. He writes, "Happiness never consists in being inactive and getting satisfaction therefrom, because this would mean everyone's desiring the happiness of others for himself, and what everyone wished for, no one would have." So, do the maths. A life focused upon self and upon my rights is a life of lack and paucity. When everyone craves a limited resource, then there will never be enough to go around. A life focused upon self is never satisfied. It will never have enough. However, a life focused upon others, one which recognises not only my rights but also my responsibilities, upon sharing what I have, which makes the happiness of others top priority, is a rich life, an abundant life. Yet, what is the worldly idea of wealth built upon? Our perception of value is built upon the scarcity of a very small number of very specific external things. Now we're approaching the end of Swedenborg's description of heaven, and very shortly we'll be considering what he calls the world of spirits and then hell. And a lot of people struggle with the idea of hell, especially if we juxtapose that idea with the notion of a God who is love. But for the moment, I want you to set aside everything you've learned about hell and remember just this. Love to the Lord and love to the neighbour wish to share with others all that is their own, for this is their delight. While the loves of self and of the world wish to take away from others what they have and take it to themselves. And just to the extent that they are able to do this, they are in their delight. All who are in hell were, while they were living in the world, in the mere delights of the body and of the flesh from the love of self and of the world. But all who are in the heavens were, while they lived in the world, in the delights of the soul and spirit from love to the Lord and love to the neighbour. And this gives us the choice. What principle will rule your life? The love of others or the love of self and of material things? Because in that one decision and the actions that spring from it, you will discover your heavenly home. As always, you're welcome to read along with us or read ahead if you prefer. You may have questions you'd like to pose in the comments. Enjoy the journey.